Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and WoW's next update of patch 11.15 may actually be approaching much sooner than I think anybody has expected. This might be one of those patches that's releasing so quick that it's kind of going to give everybody a bit of a whiplash, as based on the blue post, this thing may be coming out in about a month, like directly 4 weeks from today. And the timing probably couldn't be any more perfect, because if you've been gearing your main so far throughout Season 2, there's a good chance you're starting to not wrap up that character, but are starting to get some of your end-game best slot pieces by this point. And by the time you made a couple more crafted items, your item level should be through the roof, which would give you less time to spend on your main gearing and potentially an opportunity to open up more time for ults and gearing those. And 11.15 is bringing with it plenty of ways for you to gear your old characters to catch them up as quickly as possible, with many sources of repeatable gear upgrades, warband gear so you can send it to all of your old characters, but also a bunch of opportunities for quite quick and easy champion track and to some degree hero track items for your ults to catch up to, and that's something that even your main can help contribute towards that ults progression. Today's video, I want to take a look at all the new ways that you'll be able to catch up your ults in the patch 11.15, right now available for testing over in the PTR. Not everything is final in this build, so things may change going forward. As always, if you guys want to see more regular updates for Season 2 content on War Within or 11.15 or future PTR updates, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. But otherwise, let's dive right in. So this patch is going to bring a couple of new ways for you to be able to catch up new characters and gear out very quickly. This could be all accomplished alongside with things that already exist from the raids, the dungeon, and the delves. But if you're looking to get a character caught up in a full set of champ track gear very quickly, you should be able to in 11.15. Not all the events are going to be available day one, but one of the ones that will be available pretty early on is the Nightfall event, which are going to be one of those invasion world style events that has this actual set of activities that you'll be able to do towards the western side of Hollowfall. Apparently it's supposed to extend into Ashkehet at times, but I haven't seen it do that so far at all. There's two parts to the event. One of them is an actual assault, the big invasion that everybody gets to join in on. That one is on a rotation, and at least in PTR occurs fairly frequently, but that might be down for the testing purposes, so we can rigorously test out all the different events, all the different activities, because they rotate from you rescuing Arathi to slaying the Rubians to interacting with items to slaying the big boss enemy, and it just kind of rotates and rotates until you fill it to 100% completion. Then we also have assaults that are constantly active, and these is something that you're going to be able to dive into whenever the big event is down. So there's like about 3, at least on PTR, big encampments for Arathi, and there's a constant battling against the forces of the Nerubians at all times. There's also a weekly quest that's associated with those, so if you complete it, that can award you additional gear as well. And I heard that apparently that rares are supposed to spawn on these, but I haven't seen a single one so far, so that one is not confirmed, but that is something I did hear before. During the actual event is how you'll be able to earn champion track gear. You have a couple of different vendors that offer you either these voidy looking sets or the Arathi Zealot sets, which all look really good, and all these items end up being at champion track level. All of these items also come with a bonus, being one of the Devout grants additional intellect or strength or agility depending on your stats. And this bonus is available to all types from mail gear, plate gear, leather gear, so it is going to adjust towards your spec specifically. So if you'll say you're playing Hands of Shaman, it'll be agility, but if you switch over to elemental or restoration, it'll then become intellect instead. And you'll be able to get these champion track items by exchanging a radiant emblem of service, which we so far haven't been able to find over on the PTR. I believe it has to do with you completing fully a Nightfall event as well as the final battle, the entire thing, and then you get one of these items likely on a weekly basis that allows you to buy champion track loot for any of your characters. You also have another variation of this gear that instead of being a Zealot's armor, you have yourself the Nightfallen version, which doesn't have that same bonus, but at least the weapons, if anything, have an additional effect that allows you to potentially get a proc of primary stats, as well as a unique set of trinkets like the Shadowed Essence, as well as the Baleful Excerpt. And all these items are going to have this voidy appearance for the set, so you have 2 variations for the looks, but also there's some functionality bonuses for these items, and these will also cost you Radiant Emblem of Service. Now, the entire event of Nightfall is fairly low effort and fairly easy to get into if the event is going to be as active as it is on PTR, which again, they may change this before it comes out to live realms, but if it's active, then you should be able to dive into it very, very easily on any of your characters, whether it is your main, whether it is alts. Do a couple of these open world activities and quests in order to get a bunch of veteran track, but also possibly a champion track item once a week. There's also other items that you can get. Some of them are pieces of gear that you could also buy from the quartermaster of this new Arathi faction, but you first need to advance through the renowned ranks. However, there's only 10 renowned ranks to get through, so you should be able to get through those very, very quickly if you're looking for some additional purchasable catch-up gear for any brand new characters. But this seems like a fairly easy to get into, but also a very low effort way for you to be able to catch up all of your alts. Aside of this, we also have a brand new event of Dastardly Duos, which over on the PTR, it's a little broken. A lot of the items are not loading in, and you can't actually participate in it as of this moment, because the event is technically not live. It was live for testing just the other day. But Dastardly Duos is another opportunity for you to be able to get additional gear. There will be a weekly champion gear boost box that you will be able to earn for completing the weekly quest, and for completing the weekly quest you get yourself a champion track item, which is pretty solid, but also you get a new bonus every single week. So every time you come back to the Dastardly Duos, while it's available for a number of consecutive weeks back to back, every single one of the time you revisit it, it's another champion track item to add to your character. Plus you also get a random reward for participating in the Dastardly Duos. At least during my time spent on it on PTR, I was getting a bunch of veteran track pieces, sometimes not completely for my character's armored type. Like, I'm a clothy and I was getting plate pieces for some reason. However, it did seem like every time I do a Dastardly Duo run, at the end of a run, and you could apparently do it as many times as you want to, might be a PTR thing for us to properly test it again, like the Nightfall event, but it is something that constantly gave me veteran track gear at the end of the run. Maybe the gear upgrades if you go for some of the higher difficulties, but at least the early levels got me what felt like endless amount of veteran track gear, as well as a champion track item that you can get once a week. So that one, similar to Nightfall, will be one of those things that if you were looking for the biggest boost out of this, you at least want to get the weekly bonus, which is going to be a champion track item upgrade for your main character. But if you are trying to do this on your main and you're looking to get some gear for your ults to get them caught up as well, some veteran track items to at least get them started is going to be helpful in the long run. Now, another source of gear that you'll be able to get in level 105 is the Horrific Visions, a returning activity from the expansion of Battle for Azeroth, which will have objective base rewards. And I think Horrific Visions may actually be some of the best gear that you can get from this, because you can get heroic items directly for doing some of the more difficult content with these visions. But the basic premise of a vision is, as you spend time within a vision, you get drained on sanity. And while some of the enemies in the visions may not hit you as hard as they would in other content, not only do you have to keep up with your health bar as a resource, but also sanity. And the further you delve into visions, the more your sanity is going to get taxed, and you can only refresh it every so often. So you want to try to delve deeper into the vision, slay more powerful enemies, more dangerous bosses, and go into more threatening environments that are going to be a lot more hostile. But also you can enable these affixes to add additional extra difficulty curve to visions to make them even harder, especially when it comes to managing that sanity. So the higher difficulty you scale up with visions, the better the rewards are going to be as they start to scale with that difficulty. It is something that you, however, are going to have to build up to. Even a fully geared character is still going to have a bit of a hard time with these visions, because while your health bar may not be taking that big of a hit, but your sanity is definitely going to take big hits the further you delve into, and if your sanity runs out, the run is over, doesn't matter how geared you are, which kind of puts all players on like a very, very similar playing field to start off with. But as you delve more into visions, as you collect mementos and transform them into upgrades for visions, then you'll be able to delve further into visions, stay longer, and recover sanity more efficiently in order to be able to really challenge yourself within this content. And if you can defeat visions at a higher difficulty with these vision masks that you can enable, which add additional affixes, you will actually be able to get some of the best rewards like hero track, weapons that you could purchase specifically for very little of this new currency, which are items that are basically equivalent to heroic raid gear from the Liberation of Undermine raid. And they even start out at a pretty high rank too, 4 out of 6 hero track, which means you just need a few more gilded crests in order to transform them into like mythic adjacent items. So this could be amazing for a fresh brand new character as long as you can overcome these visions with these upgrades. And this is on top of the rewards that you can earn just for running these visions with these masks, as at the end of a run you do get a variety of different chests, most of them for slaying any of the extra lieutenants within visions or like extra elite enemies within visions are going to get you a bit more of this vision currency to buy upgrades or even buy these weapons or buy a lot of the cosmetics. But then there's also a big box at the end. The more enemies you slay, the harder you make the vision, the better the rewards can be. So you're getting additional rewards on top of it as well. So you get a random assortment of gear that you can get from every single run, but also some rewards that you can specifically work towards with a couple of different weapon variations available from these vendors, which can allow you to at least focus in on loot on your character. A lot of the times when they add a lot of these events, it's usually randomized gear, so you're just hoping to get something good, but having items that you can specifically work towards and you know what stats these items are going to give you so you can better focus in on what's going to be your biggest upgrade, I think is a fantastic change. And it's a change that I hope we'll see from future catch-up patches and content updates like this, because I feel like just being able to zero in specific items in order to help a character catch up, in order to have that character dive into dungeons and raids, or potentially if you're looking for a main swap at some point in the future, those things help out tremendously. And hopefully they'll end up buffing up the content a little bit so it gives you more currencies. Testing out all these different features, I don't really see a lot of currencies dropping from them as much as gear, so hopefully that'll be adjusted before this update leaves the PTR realms. But with that being said, as always though, I do want to thank all of you guys so much for watching and hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did enjoy it or found it informative, go ahead and give this video a like. I would very much appreciate it. Join our Discord community, probably the best place to keep up with all the 11.15 stuff on PTR, or if there's any new class changes and patch notes for Season 2 of War Within. As always, let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in our next one.